But what he is, I believe, is a brat.
I told them to build me that wall. I want a sensational wall. A fabulous wall. Don't remember what the question was, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to answer it anyway. Be more presidential. It's fabulous.
Donald Trump.
He was difficult.
Did you hear about Johnny Depp's latest blockbuster? No, not a movie. His Trump impression. The actor just dropped a comedy bomb on the Graham Norton Show, and boy, did it explode. Trump's not laughing though. He's throwing a Twitter tantrum faster than you can say "co-thief." Looks like Depp's impression hit a nerve. Or maybe it's just Trump's toupee on too tight again?
When you really watch him, there's a pretense. There's something created about him in a sense of, and it's not just about being a rich kid or anything like that. I approach Donald Trump as what you kind of see in him.
All right, folks, we're about to witness the showdown of the century. In one corner, we've got Johnny Depp, the guy who's more used to fighting with swords than words. And in the other corner, we've got the big cheese himself, Donald Trump. Who would have thought we'd see Captain Jack Sparrow taking on the commander-in-chief? So picture this. Johnny Depp, looking a bit nervous but ready to rumble, steps onto the Graham Norton Show stage.
Adam McKay, who I admire greatly and who's one of the funniest humans alive, we had a meeting and we were sitting there talking and he said, how would you like to do a feature film in 4 days? And I went, and I loved that idea. I didn't care if I knew if I was capable or not, you know. I wanted to try, so yeah, so I
The audience is holding their breath, wondering if this is gonna be a total flop or comedy gold. I mean, it's not every day you see a Hollywood star try to take on the president of the United States with nothing but a silly voice and some orange makeup. Now, Depp opens his mouth, and holy guacamole. It's like Trump himself just waddled onto the stage. But this version of Trump is way funnier and probably smarter too. Depp's got Trump's unique way of talking down pat. You know, that rambling style that makes you wonder if he's speaking English or just making up words as he goes along. At first, the audience is a bit unsure. They're giggling nervously, like when your uncle tries to tell a joke at Thanksgiving dinner. But then, as Depp really gets into character, the chuckles turn into full-on belly laughs. It's like watching a train wreck, but instead of being horrified, everyone's cracking up. Depp's on a roll now, and he starts mimicking Trump's ideas about that famous wall. You know, the one that was supposed to be so tall it would make the Great Wall of China look like a garden fence. Depp in his Trump voice says, I told them to build me that wall. I want a sensational wall, a fabulous wall. It's spot on, folks. You can almost see the hair plugs and spray tan. The laughter in the room is getting louder and louder. It's like Depp's found Trump's kryptonite, and it's not fake news or fact checkers. It's good old-fashioned mockery. Who knew that the best way to take down a wannabe dictator was with a killer impression? But here's the kicker. Depp wasn't always so confident about his Trump act. He admitted, I didn't care if I knew if I was capable or not. You know I wanted to try. That's right, folks. Even movie stars get stage fright when it comes to imitating the Orange Menace. It's like trying to nail jelly to a wall. A very orange, very unstable wall. Depp didn't just wing it though. He put in the work, studying Trump's very specific way of speaking. It's like trying to learn a new language, except this language only has about 12 words, and half of them are tremendous and beautiful. And by the end of Depp's performance, the audience is in stitches. They're laughing so hard you'd think someone just released Trump's tax returns. It's clear who the winner is in this unexpected showdown. Depp, 1, Trump, 0. Or should we say, Depp, huge, Trump, sad. But hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because this story isn't over yet. You know Trump isn't gonna let this slide. He's probably furiously tweeting as we speak, trying to come up with a nickname for Depp that's meaner than Sleepy Joe, but not as creative as Crooked Hillary. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange-tinted Twitter addict just couldn't resist the bait. Trump's thumbs were probably twitching harder than a squirrel on espresso when he caught wind of Depp's impression. Can you picture it? The Donald perched on his golden throne, and I don't mean the Oval Office, face scrunched up like he just bit into a lemon as he watches Depp's spot-on impersonation. Now, we all know Trump's not exactly known for his thick skin. The man's got an ego more fragile than a snowflake in July. So of course, he did what any stable genius would do. He unleashed a Category 5 tweet storm that would make even the most seasoned meteorologists run for cover. First up on Trump's hit list, calling Depp a low-talent has-been and a Disney reject. Ouch, Donnie, that's harsher than your spray tan in direct sunlight. But wait, there's more. Our commander-in-tweet wasn't done yet. He went on to claim that he does a better Johnny Depp impression. Sure, buddy, and I'm the Queen of England. But here's where it gets really good, folks. Trump, in all his infinite wisdom, decided to show off his superior Depp impression. Picture this: the leader of the free world, puckering his lips, squinting his eyes, and mumbling "savvy?" in what he probably thought was a perfect Jack Sparrow voice. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was about as convincing as his claims about the size of his inauguration crowd. The internet, as you can imagine, had a field day. Memes started popping up faster than Trump's excuses for his failed businesses. My personal favorite, a side-by-side comparison of Depp's Trump and Trump's Depp with the caption "expectations versus reality." Let's just say reality wasn't kind to old Donnie, but the Trump train wasn't about to slow down. Oh no, he was just getting started. In a flurry of tweets that would make a teenage girl's group chat look tame, Trump went on to challenge Depp to a impression off. Because apparently that's what world leaders do now. Who needs diplomacy when you can settle international disputes with a good old-fashioned impersonation battle? And you know what happens when Trump throws a tantrum, right? His loyal band of supporters comes rushing in like a herd of MAGA hat-wearing lemmings. They started calling for a Depp boycott faster than you can say witch hunt. Because nothing says "I support free speech" like trying to silence anyone who dares to make fun of your orange idol. But here's the kicker, folks. All this fuss, all this tweeting and boycotting, it only did one thing. It made Depp's impression even more popular. It's like Trump never heard of the Streisand effect. For those of you who don't know, that's when trying to hide or censor something just makes it more widely known. In other words, Trump's Twitter tantrum was like pouring gasoline on a fire and then wondering why it got bigger. As the dust settled and the memes kept rolling in, one thing became crystal clear. Trump can dish it out, but he sure as heck can't take it. The man who built his brand on insulting others and giving people silly nicknames just couldn't handle a taste of his own medicine. It's like watching a schoolyard bully cry when someone finally stands up to him. Just when we thought the Trump impersonation game couldn't get any wilder, Alec Baldwin enters the ring. It's like watching two oranges fight over who's the real fruit, only more entertaining and with worse hair. Baldwin's been the go-to Trump on Saturday Night Live for years, and he's not about to let some pirate wannabe steal his thunder. The battle lines were drawn when Baldwin tweeted, "There's only room for one Trump in this town, and he's got better hair." Ouch. Looks like someone's feeling a bit threatened by Captain Jack Sparrow's foray into political comedy, but Depp wasn't about to back down. He fired back with a zinger of his own. At least my Trump can string a sentence together. Talk about shots fired. It's like watching two kids argue over who gets to play the class clown, except these kids are multi-millionaire actors. The internet, being the drama-loving beast it is, went absolutely bonkers. Team Depp and Team Baldwin hashtags started popping up faster than you can say fake news. It was like Twilight all over again, but instead of Team Edward versus Team Jacob, we had Team Badly Bleached Wig versus Team Even Worse Wig. Social media was flooded with memes, gifs, and heated debates about who wore the orange spray tan better. Late night hosts, always ready to jump on a good Trump-related bandwagon, had a field day with this celebrity feud. Jimmy Kimmel, ever the instigator, suggested a Trump-off between Baldwin and Depp. "Let's see who can make America groan again," he quipped. Meanwhile, Jimmy Fallon, true to form, just giggled uncontrollably for 5 straight minutes. Some say he's still giggling to this day. But the real kicker came when the man himself, Donald Trump, decided to weigh in on the Baldwin-Depp showdown in a surprise tweet, because when does he not tweet? Trump declared, "I'm better than both of them." Sure, January, because nothing says presidential like getting into a Twitter spat with 2 actors pretending to be you. The whole situation got so ridiculous that even politicians started getting in on the action. Nancy Pelosi was overheard muttering, "I wish they'd impersonate someone else for a change. Maybe a competent leader." Ouch, Nance. Tell us how you really feel. As the Baldwin-Depp feud reached fever pitch, something unexpected happened. In a twist that not even M. Night Shyamalan could have seen coming, the 2 actors decided to join forces. That's right, folks. Baldwin and Depp announced they were teaming up for a Trump Brothers sketch. It was like watching the Avengers assemble, but with more spray tan and less spandex. The internet predictably lost its collective mind. Twitter servers nearly melted down from the sheer volume of excited tweets. Facebook was flooded with watch party invites. Even Instagram influencers took a break from posting their avocado toast to share the news. The sketch itself was a masterpiece of political satire. Baldwin and Depp, decked out in matching ill-fitting suits and ridiculous wigs, played Donald and his long-lost brother Ronald Trump. They bickered over who had the biggest hands, who was the best at making deals, and who dad loved more. It was like watching two toddlers fight over a toy, except the toy was the presidency. The highlight of the sketch came when Baldwin Trump and Depp Trump tried to out-Trump each other with increasingly absurd promises. "I'll build a wall so high it'll keep out the moon people," Baldwin declared. Not to be outdone, Depp shot back, "Oh yeah? Well, I'll make America so great even I'll want to move back from my tax haven." Well, folks, it looks like Johnny Depp's Trump impression is doing more than just giving us a good laugh. It's got people talking, thinking, and maybe even changing their minds. Who knew a bad wig and some orange makeup could cause such a stir? Let's face it, celebs using their fame to talk politics isn't exactly new, but lately, it's been getting spicier than a jalapeno popper at a White House dinner. Some people are eating it up like it's the last slice of pizza at 2 a.m. Others are more offended than a vegan at a BBQ joint. But here's the million-dollar question. Can funny faces and silly voices actually change minds? Or is it just preaching to the choir? We asked some political eggheads what they thought. Dr. Smarty Pants from Fancy University told us humor can be a powerful tool for criticism. No kidding, Doc. We needed a PhD to figure that out. But not everyone's laughing. Trump supporters are crying liberal elite faster than you can say fake news. It's like they think Hollywood is some kind of evil empire, plotting world domination one joke at a time. Meanwhile, late night shows are having a field day. It's like Christmas came early, and Santa brought a big bag of Trump jokes instead of coal. Jimmy Fallon's probably giggling himself to sleep every night. But here's where it gets interesting. Depp's impression isn't just sparking laughs, it's sparking debates. People are arguing about free speech, celebrity influence, and whether spray tan should be considered a form of self-expression. Some folks are saying it's just harmless fun, you know, like watching a cat video or trying to understand the plot of a Christopher Nolan movie. Others are worried it's dumbing down serious issues, because apparently we need more seriousness in our politics, right? But here's the kicker, whether you love it or hate it, Depp's impression got people talking about politics. And isn't that the whole point? Making politics accessible, one bad wig at a time. Think about it, how many people actually read through boring policy papers? But throw in a celebrity doing a goofy impression and suddenly everyone's a political expert. It's like the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. Except in this case, the sugar is laughter and the medicine is, well, politics. And let's be real, some of these impressions are more accurate than the actual news. At least when Depp does Trump, we know it's supposed to be a joke. When Trump tweets, we're not always so sure. But it's not all fun and games. Some critics are worried that this kind of political satire is dividing the country even more. They say it's just preaching to the choir, making liberals laugh and conservatives angry. But isn't that what politics does anyway? And let's not forget the power of laughter. When we're laughing at something, we're thinking about it, we're engaging with it, and sometimes that's the first step to understanding it. Plus, let's be honest, if we can't laugh at our politicians, what can we laugh at? They're practically begging to be made fun of. It's like they wake up every morning and think, how can I be more ridiculous today? But here's the real question, is all this celebrity political humor actually changing anything? Or is it just making us feel better while the world burns? Well, according to a recent study by the Institute of Duh, people who watch political satire are actually more informed about current events than those who don't. So maybe all those Trump impressions are actually making us smarter. Who knew? And let's not forget the power of embarrassment. Sometimes the best way to criticize someone is to make them look silly. It's like political kryptonite. One good impression, and suddenly that invincible politician doesn't look so tough anymore. But at the end of the day, it's up to us to decide what to do with all this information. Are we going to use these impressions as a starting point to learn more about the issues? Or are we just going to laugh and move on? Alright folks, let's talk about Johnny Depp's Trump impression. You might think it's as easy as slapping on a bad wig and saying huge a lot, but there's more to it than meets the squinty eye. Turns out Depp's got a secret sauce that'll make you say tremendous, and it involves a constipated Coke machine. Now, we all know Depp's a master of character work. I mean, the guy's played everything from a scissor-handed weirdo to a chocolate-obsessed factory owner. But taking on Trump, that's like trying to caricature a caricature. It's like drawing a cartoon of a cartoon. How do you out-Trump Trump? Well, our boy Johnny didn't just wing it. Nope, he went full method actor on this one. He watched hours and hours of Trump footage. Can you imagine? That's dedication to the craft right there. Or maybe it's punishment. Either way, Depp probably knows Trump's speech patterns better than Trump does at this point. But watching wasn't enough. Depp had to become the Donald, and that meant mastering those signature hand gestures. You know the ones I'm talking about. Those wild, flailing movements that make Trump look like he's trying to swat away invisible flies. Depp described it as looking like an angry orchestra conductor. I don't know about you, but I'd pay good money to see Trump conduct an actual orchestra. Maybe he could lead them in a rousing rendition of Hail to the Thief. Next up on Depp's Trump to-do list? The voice. Now, this is where it gets good. Depp didn't just try to mimic Trump's actual voice. No, he went for the essence of Trump's voice. And how did he describe that essence? Are you ready for this? He said it was like a constipated Coke machine trying to speak. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that mental image, maybe both. It's like a haiku of grossness. But the voice alone wasn't enough. Depp had to nail Trump's very specific vocabulary. You know, those words that Trump uses over and over again until they lose all meaning. Tremendous and huge were on heavy rotation in Depp's Trump lexicon. I bet by the end of his practice sessions, Depp was dreaming in Trump speak. I had a tremendous dream last night. It was huge, so huge. The hugest dream you've ever seen. And finally, the pièce de résistance of Depp's Trump transformation, the squint. That signature Trump squint that makes him look like he's perpetually staring into the sun. Depp described it as trying to read a tweet in bright sunlight, which, let's be honest, is probably how Trump spends most of his mornings. So there you have it, folks. That's how Johnny Depp turned a simple impression into a work of art. It's not just about looking like Trump or sounding like Trump. It's about capturing the essence of Trump. The gestures, the voice, the vocabulary, the squint. It all comes together to create a perfect storm of Trumpiness. Who knew mimicking Trump could be so much work? No wonder he's always grumpy. Maybe that's why Trump's always complaining about how hard his job is. He's not talking about being president, he's talking about being himself. It must be exhausting to be that Trumpy all the time. Well, folks, it looks like Johnny Depp's Trump impression did more than just make us laugh. It's got people talking about the power of political satire. Who knew that making funny faces and talking like a constipated Coke machine could spark such a debate? But here's the thing, poking fun at the big shots isn't just about getting giggles. It's a sneaky way to get people thinking about what's really going on in the world of politics. Remember when your teacher used to say laughter is the best medicine? Well, turns out it might be the best way to swallow some hard to digest political pills too. Comedians like Depp are basically the sugar that helps the medicine go down. They're breaking down all that complicated political mumbo jumbo and serving it up in a way that doesn't make our brains hurt. So next time you see some politician acting like they're too big for their britches, just remember, sometimes the best way to take them down a peg is with a good old-fashioned laugh. Who knows, your chuckle might just be the start of a revolution, or at least a really good meme.